Hi, hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to be reviewing the brand new Grimes album titled Miss Anthropocene. I hope you guys enjoy. Right off the bat, we were introduced to a very familiar sound for Grimes. The dense, digital, dreamy miasma, aided with the soft, angelic vocals, convey this feeling of transcendence on the track. The ambient house type instrumental progresses very nicely. It kind of opens up the track wider and wider as it goes on, and the graceful last leg is a beautiful finishing touch on this track, concluding a fantastic opener. Aside from being the ruler of Apocalypse in the DC Comics lore, this is more niche territory for Grimes. The desolate planetary hip-hop beat has a ton of oomph in its soundscape. I think Aristophane's vocal feature was a bit weird for me at first, but I grew to really enjoy the hectic nature of her verse. The song deals with the interesting idea of being in a manically hopeless state. The lyrics kind of go over the mind being the only functioning thing about an organism as it goes through many physical and mental ordeals. It gives the song a lot of replay value, even if I have to look at the translation. I honestly don't mind it. I love the folk-based instrumental that holds this gentle sense of fragility in the elegant acoustics. Grimes' vocals kind of lay low in the back, but I think her subdued delivery fits the instrumental quite well. The song topic ends up being interesting too, detailing this leader of sorts grieving over the loss of her army and using their deaths to justify the leader's self-destructive ways of coping. The chorus is oddly sweet for a song like this, and the last leg of the track that incorporates these depressed horns and strings helps end the track with a sense of tragedy. This track uses more of an electro house sound with an element of Dreamtronica, helps provide these rushes as the instrumental progresses that just really suck you into the experience. The vocals are subdued, but they're heavily noticeable with numerous vocal ranges on display. It ends up being another fantastic track. I absolutely love the Bollywood inspiration this track uses. The beginning of the track is incredibly ethereal with some pitched percussion coming from what sounds like a xylophone. The hand drums are a nice touch. The sparse sitar plucks are great. And Grimes' crooning vocals as it comes to a close are just mwah. The track then undergoes a sudden metamorphosis as the sound shifts from this Bollywood fantasy into a futuristic drum and bass rave. The track then alternates between these two sounds before the track is over, and I came away adoring how incredible the compositions for these separate styles ended up merging together in such an awesome fashion. I think the song title is another reference to DC villain Darkseid. Anyway, irrelevant trivia aside, this is another track that I find sonically and topically compelling. The lyrics go over losing faith in the old deities after constant disasters and looking towards these new gods to fill the void or be the thing you worship, even though they most likely don't exist. The slow piano progression, aided with the reverb vocals in the first half of the track, build a lot of potency that I think the second half does a great job in unlocking as the track opens up to a more fuller, more ethereal sound before concluding with grace. This is kind of an ambient club track that has a lot of layers to it. I like the overall nocturnal vibe from it. The bass-heavy grooves and the murky guitar tones being the primary palette for this song is great. I love the aerodynamic vocals because I feel like they do a lot in this song. And Grimes' childlike delivery does wonders to express some very desolate, depressed lyrics, mentioning social interactions being boring, willingly not sleeping and being paranoid of the government, just being in a very dark place, and it ends up being my favorite on the album. This track goes into more alt-rock territory. There are some splashes of manipulated vocal tidbits across the track to help expand on the sound. I like the more natural vocals on the track. I think it makes the incredibly dark topic of suicide much more homogenous in a very terrifying way. The multiple ways of getting in heaven include these horrific ways of suicide while mentioning the satisfaction this person gets when they die, like smiling 6 feet underground. The first time I heard this, I wasn't really listening to the words as I was just trying to really incorporate myself into the sound. But on my second listen, once I dove in to kind of understand the track more and fully heard the lyrics, it gave me a perspective of how some people in this mental state are able to hide those depressed, suicidal feelings through smiles and going through the motions to the point where no one really pays attention to what's really going on. It makes this track a very valuable experience for me. This is sonically the darkest track on the record. The thick, deep bass line and the slow, droning electric guitars make up this atmosphere of inevitable doom. Grimes is singing in her lower register about being fearless in the face of death and embracing this person that they love before they inevitably perish. After the track hits the high point where all the sounds fuses together with each other. The solitary minute and a half afterwards of this dark ambient instrumental and light vocalizations in the background is great. It gives me a feeling of like a remnant or a ghost roaming the land where it once lived, reminiscing on what life used to be before it was unjustly wiped out. It's oddly beautiful. Coming off a slew of nihilistic, depressing tracks, this track immediately opens up with some birds chirping and some light vocalizations, almost like it's taking place in a completely different biome. The song has a much sweeter tone, appreciating and loving the life around you. The instrumental is really dreamy and ethereal with some elements that help give this track a sense of finality. Even the lyrics acknowledge that one day it will come to an end, but before that there's so much to do and love when you're here, especially with a special someone. This being the closure of the record after that string of nihilistic songs is perfect in my opinion. It caps off the album while acknowledging all the hardships and tough ideas it took to get here. Yeah, overall this album is flawless to me, easily Grimes' most consistent and polished body of work. The sounds and compositions are amazing and creates a unique sense of synergy between all the tracks on the record. The songwriting can be sparse admittedly, especially with how many topics there are for this concept that Grimes has created. But I feel like it's never anything that's out of touch or rhythm, especially since each track has their own distinct atmosphere, different biome, just a different sense of life. Yeah, I've said enough. I love this album. I give it a